Every day in America, 160 children are placed in a permanent foster home until they turn 18. These children will say goodbye to their families, to their friends, and the school that they attend to be placed in a home of a stranger. Imagine for a moment that you're 13. A police officer and a caseworker come to your home and they tell you that you can only bring your clothes and one item from your bedroom and that you will be leaving with the caseworker. How would you feel? Would you want to hug your mother one last time? Would you want to run away from this nightmare? This is a reality that many children face all across the nation every day. I'm able to speak to you about the trauma of foster care because I myself was a foster child and I have mentored many foster children over the years. In addition to that, I have done very much research on the subject of foster children. I want to offer some insight and perspective on the foster care system in America by telling you about the potential long-term effects foster care has on a child emotionally, intellectually, and economically. I also want to offer my thoughts on how to overcome the current issues with foster care in this country. To begin with, most of the children placed in foster care were placed for a reason, and most of the time it's better off that they're in foster care than with their biological families. But being placed in a stranger's home does have some emotional, intellectual, and economical long-term effects on the child overall. Firstly, most foster children experience severe emotional damage. By the time the child is removed from their family, he or she has already experienced trauma from neglect and abuse. Being placed in a home of a stranger might be necessary for the child's safety, but it's often just as emotionally traumatic to be expected to live with strangers. The child can begin to feel punished just for existing and will often experience resentment, anger, and frustration. According to the Adoption and Foster Care Analysis and Reporting System, 1 in 4 children will experience lifelong PTSD. Some states allow a child to gradually phase into their new home with supervised visits and days in transition before being turned over to the foster parent. Secondly, a foster child's education is usually put on hold because of the distress associated with being put into protective custody. It may be difficult for the child to cope with the changes of living with a new family and going to a new school. Because of this, a child may experience uncertainty, which makes it difficult to focus on schoolwork. According to the U.S. Department of Education, foster youth are at a higher risk to drop out of high school than the average teenager. In addition, less than 3% of former foster children earn a degree of any type in their lifetime. Therefore, perhaps school systems should have some sort of tutoring and support system for foster children so that the children can adjust to the transition in their living situation and have more of a chance to focus on school. Lastly, foster children who are not reunited with their families and who are not adopted are at a higher risk of homelessness. The day a foster child turns 18, foster parents are no longer required to house the child or to care for his or her needs. Without any family support or a place to go, many foster children in this situation have to go to a homeless shelter or move in with a girlfriend or boyfriend. According to the Children's Rights Foundation, as much as 31% of foster youth will become homeless after turning 18. Homelessness is the biggest challenge facing foster children. I believe that if there were a system to facilitate a foster child's transition to adulthood, the rate of homelessness would decrease dramatically. In summary, perhaps society should be more aware of the emotional, intellectual, and economic challenges children in foster care have to face, as well as be grateful that most of us never had to experience these very challenges. Although the challenges foster children face cannot be avoided entirely, some of the emotional, intellectual, and economical damages can be lessened by tactful case management and community awareness. It has been a pleasure to have been able to tell you these things from personal experience and after years of research. I hope that this discussion has helped you to have a better understanding of the impact foster care has on this country's foster youth. Thank you.